the United States of America. Unity and oneness is what we're made of. One nation under God, it's plain to see. We're showing the whole world what a country should be. United we stand in America, hand in hand in America. Together as one in a land that we love. United we stand in America.
Good morning, everyone out there. Welcome to Changing Times. It is Wednesday, April the 13th. It is absolutely a beautiful day in Southwest Missouri. We are live at the Axe Media Group headquarters in Springfield, Missouri. Show number 291. Thank you, God, for allowing us to be on the air. I tell you what, we have a great show. This is something I've talked about a few times on our show, just mentioning the fact that we are going to talk about a Christian movement, something that is going around the entire country, 94X. 94X. And so our title, our subject today is What is 94X? And Conrad Griggs, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me on.
Well, I tell you what, you and I have known each other a long time. You're a great friend. Conrad Griggs is a great person. So start this show out, Conrad. You may not know this, but every show we've done 291 times, we have never failed. We have difference makers on our show. You are certainly a difference maker. You've been a difference maker for a long time. We have all kinds of difference makers. People do different things, okay? And it's very important to be a difference maker. Not everybody can be a difference maker, so everyone's still important, but you need to pay attention to the difference makers because they're going to help you, they're going to help others, and make our country, make your life, make everything better. And so I want to make sure that you know that. Conrad has a book. We didn't get it brought today, but that's no problem. So here's the deal. 94X, he's got a book that I saw yesterday at a breakfast. We're going to talk about that. And but it's 94X. And I want to give some books away. Conrad wants to give books away today. And I will mail them, and I'll pay for the postage. I don't care where it's at. It could be in all 50 states. I don't care where you live. I'm just glad you're tuning in today. By the way, when you like our show, be sure and share it with your friends and neighbors. Okay, be sure and share it. That's how our audience continues to grow and grow. But 94X, so here's how you do this. Be sure and get a pencil and paper right now, because I know there's going to be things that Conrad Griggs is going to say that you need to write down. You need to write it down. Don't be like me thinking your memory's going to remember it, and then a few minutes later, I should have written something at church last Sunday, Conrad, because it was something really good, and I said it to myself 3 or 4 times while the minister gave the sermon, gave our message, a tremendous message for Mother's Day and for families last Sunday. But I said it 3 or 4 times where I thought I would remember it. I get back home after lunch, because I have lunch out, and then we get home 2 or 3 hours after church, and I couldn't remember everything that he said. I wanted to write it down where I could say it today. So dadgummit, don't be like me. Write it down. Get a pencil and paper. So here it is, 4321 acts@gmail.com. Let's do it again. You're going to send in, if you want a book, 94X, and I'm telling you what, this book will change your life. So if you want a book, a free book, 4321 acts@gmail.com. Okay, you got it? We'll probably do it one more time somewhat or during the show. But I want to give you some books. I know Conrad does. He's the one that said it. He said, well, I'll give some books away today. This is awesome. You're going to learn something. It's going to change your life. You need to do that, okay? So just send us and say, hey, please send me a book. Okay, and then after you read the book, do the same thing I do. If I like a book, I share it. I share it with my family members. I share it with my neighbors. I share it at church. I share it at work. At work, we're going to be talking about what 94X means at work. And so be sure and share things that are good, okay? But anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about Conrad. You're going to say, well, who is Conrad Griggs? Well, he and I have known each other for a long time. I've known him mostly as a banker. He was and still is a tremendous banker. Been involved in the banking business for a long time, but born in Canada. When I looked at his bio, as many times as he and I have talked, I never knew you were born in Canada, and so moved over here. Actually, you lived in Germany.
No,
You
my
didn't.
grandpa.
Your grandfather did. Your grandfather did, and he got brought over here because I understand he was a banker. And,
No, he was a butcher.
Oh, butcher.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Jim's was,
Jim's
a banker. Yeah.
Oh, Jim's
Mine was a
dad.
candlestick maker. So
Okay, we got a candlestick. We got a candlestick maker. We got a banker and a butcher. So that's good. That's what it took to make the country back then when people came over and immigrated over to our country. They had a purpose, and God gave them a purpose. And look at all the things that our country has achieved because of all the different people. But I noticed that, you went to college, and you went to junior college at Moberly. That was a good school. And then you went to Missouri State and Drury, both great schools. One's a state university and one's a private university, both in Springfield, Missouri, and you got your bachelor's and your master's with those two schools, tremendous schools. You were a retired colonel for the Missouri National Guard, so thank you for your service and everything you've done. I tell you what, our veterans, the veterans are people, I always think about Veterans Day, and I'm on the Veterans Board out there. Well, I'm on the board. I'm not a veteran. I'm the only person out there at the National Cemetery and out by Lake Springfield. It's a beautiful, beautiful cemetery just for veterans and their family members, and it's absolutely awesome. And I have the privilege to be on the board. Everybody else are colonels and veterans and people that high up have done so much good for the country, and then I'm just me that's on the board. So I'm the token guy on the board that loves our country and loves our veterans. So.
Well, thank you for letting me have a plot.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. It's absolutely a beautiful place. And then I noticed that you were a Springfield police officer, so you've been in law enforcement. You retired with Merrill Lynch. You retired at the Bank of Missouri. You now work with Region Bank. You were retired several times, but you, kind of like me, we don't really know how to quit, do we?
No. I mean, as long as the good Lord puts breath in my lungs, I'm going to continue to move on. So, but you forgot I was on my reign of terror on city council for 11 years.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
city council.
That's where I met you.
Yeah, city council, and so you've done a lot of public service. And public service, in my opinion, is a calling. I'm sure that was for you too. You don't get paid a lot for public service, and so I'm not about money, but God always supplies all the money I need and things like that. So, but public service, now you're working with 94X, and that's why we're here today. So let's just get started. I mean, people are already trying to figure out, well, come on, let's get with the show. What is 94X?
Okay, that's a great question. I really appreciate the opportunity. 94X is kind of a part of a system started by Sean Kouplen, the co-author, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but Sean Kouplen is out of Oklahoma and deeply religious man, very strong man of faith, and he talks about this in his book, but the short story is that he bought Region Bank in 2007, one of the youngest bankers in Oklahoma, and that everybody, especially as an older audience, know what happened in 2008, and he needed $3 million or he was going to have to close the bank. And so he was praying about it, and he felt God wasn't answering him, so he was in church and had to sit on the front row. He was a little tardy, and they were singing a song called "I'm the Healer," and he just broke down and started sobbing. And so the next day, the next work week, he goes to the office and he typed up 84 letters to send out to Last Ditch. Please help us bail. We need $3 million by the end of the week or we're going to be closed. So as the lady was walking out with the envelope, he gets a call from the Treasury Department. And he stopped her and he said, "This is it, we're done." So he goes in to his office, picks up the phone. The lady on the other end says, "Hello, Mr. Kouplen, how are you doing today?" And he said, "Well, this is going to depend upon this conversation." She said, "Well, as you know, we've closed 400 banks and the government has decided to infuse some money back into the economy, and your bank has been chosen to receive $3 million. And we're going to send you the paperwork if you'll accept it." And of course, he did accept it. And he said, and then she went on to say, "You know, this is interesting, but of all the money in Oklahoma that we're sending, you're the only regional bank that was picked. The rest of them were the big boys." She said, "You must know somebody." He said, "Yes, ma'am, I do." And that saves the bank. And today we're thriving. We're a $2 billion bank and spreads the gospel. And he wrote the book 94X, which basically started out faith in business, where we have a group of people who, like Lynn tended yesterday, we have a free breakfast, White River Room, a second Tuesday of every month. We have speakers like Lynn and like just ladies and men who are business people who've had their shins kicked in their life and how their faith have got them through it. And they tell everybody, and they risk exposing themselves, but they're willing to do that for the kingdom. And so it's been great. And then he wrote the book. He kept getting these numbers, 160 divided by 1.7. And he really didn't figure out what it was. And somehow or another, it extrapolated to the fact that 160 hours is the number of hours of an employee works for an employer. And 1.7 is the number of hours that you're in church. So extrapolate that, that's 94 times. So the new workplace, the new mission field, he believes, and I do too, is the workplace. When you start treating people like you want to be treated, godly principles, and doing things that are right, praying for one another, and you can't force this on anybody in your business, but you sure can offer it and act like it. And that's what it's all about. And so the faith in business, if you will, excuse me, is like a Sunday school, and the tentacles of 94X is basically like a Bible study that you have with different people. Now, I didn't say this earlier, Lynn, but last year, Sean was in Dubai on vacation, and he's sitting out with his wife, and a guy walked up to him. He says, "You're the 94X guy." And he said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, you wrote 94X. You're Sean Kouplen," in Dubai. He had gotten a book somehow or another and read it. There's a young man that kept going. He's getting his doctorate from Evangel. He's going back to Africa and teach 94X. Now, Sean is leaving this year to go to Korea to 94X. And so people all over, this thing is growing all over the world. And it's just basically principle of loving one another and taking care of one another and treating each other, because we're all God's. Everybody belongs to God, and He made us, and that's who we are, and He loves us. We're His children, like it or not. We're His children.
Well, very good. So kind of talk about some of the things that you made comments of. Very good. I tell you what. So obviously, God was the person that he was talking about, that because a lot of us, and I hope that all of you out there are a person that prays every day. Prays not just once a day, not just once a week or once a month, or just prays when something's going wrong. But how about praying every day when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night? Stop during the middle of the day and pray and thank God for what is going on in your life, okay? And God answers prayers. He always answers prayers. And at the end of this show, we're gonna pray for some people. I'm gonna ask you to pray for some people, and this is just an amazing thing. So this man, Sean Kouplen, he's in Oklahoma, right?
Correct. Tulsa, yeah.
And so, but this movement, I call it a movement. It's a Christian movement. it's really going on over the country and now around the world. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
And God's leading that because He's the center of that. And Sean Kouplen learned what God can do, the power that God can do through prayer. And that's amazing. I was laughing because we talked before the show started with 2 daughters and a wife. So we got three women in our family, and my son and I, we were always ready. We were in the car ready to go to church, and the women were still doing their hair and everything. And so they were always the last ones to get in the car. So we were always one of the last ones to get to church. And so when you get to church late, you do sit on the front row. And I remember I remember Justin saying, and he had a little trembling voice, he wasn't very big, he said, Dad, why do we have to sit on the front row? I said, well, talk to your sisters about it. Talk to your mom. I mean, you and me, son, we're ready to go. And so he was sitting on the front row that day because he was late. But God knew where he was at all times and took care of him. So one of the things I want people to know, and so is this a chapter? Is that basically what we're doing in Springfield, Missouri? Do we have an official chapter in Springfield? Because we have this great breakfast every once a month, every first Tuesday of the month on Wednesday. Is that a chapter or what?
No, that is not a chapter. And that's a great question, Lynn, because my role at the bank, when I was hired by Mick, the president here locally, to promote faith in business, which is kind of what you go to. We've got one in Branson, and we're starting one in Joplin the first of the year. And it's been amazing watching God work. Well, the 94X is somewhat of a spinoff, and it's relatively new in organizational structure. The book's been around for a while. And so the whole attempt of that ministry is to promote this. There are chapters, and what you do is you go online, which 94xmovement.org, and it'll take you through the things that are available to you. And you can start a chapter. And early on the chapter, there was a charge. And then some guy, again, this is how the Holy Spirit works, walked in and said, no more charges, I'm picking up the tab. And so there's no more charges to being a charter member. I will be one for Springfield. I thought I was one, but I don't know when because I was paying them, so I don't know. But in any case, I'll renew and we'll make sure, because I feel that I want to understand how all this works and how we can move. And anybody can be a chapter member, and anybody, and then there's your requirements that you need to do for this chapter. But it's going to be a lot of fun. If you love the Lord, if you love people, and if you love Scripture, you're really going to love it. There's 12 principles in the book that you go by, and it's a triangle. The first one is abide. You have to abide in God. You have to be able to abide in Him. And that's where it starts, and it goes on with integrity and things like this. And so it's a great, great, great book and great principles to start out with. And basically the Holy Spirit will move each individual to wherever they are. Just pray about it. Like you're saying, Lynn, just stay in prayer. I've been doing this for now 2.5 years, and I'm just blown away by the power of the Holy Spirit and the things that have happened that I couldn't dream to happen. And they're not like miracles like walking on the water. They're just things happening when they need to happen and things not happening when they don't need to happen. So.
Yeah, very, very good. One of the things that I noticed, and I was telling Conrad and Jim and Dennis, our producer, we're all volunteers, and one of the things I noticed at these breakfasts is yes, there's a lot of powerful business leaders, very smart people, work very hard, very good people, but there's a lot of employees. It takes everybody to make a company. It doesn't take a president or a CEO. It takes a lot of different people. And I noticed that these breakfasts that are full, there's not hardly any empty seats. And I think, what did you say, about 300 people there? Yeah, well, that's an amazing number.
And that's kind of a low crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you what, it's really moving. The movement is moving and increasing in power every month. Every month it's.
Lynn, let me interject here if I may. There's no cost. We have partners who offset some of the costs. Of course, the Regent Bank does also. And also, White River Room serves a great breakfast. It is awesome breakfast. And so come and enjoy and hang out with like-minded people.
Sure, and that's a Johnny Morris. Johnny Morris has Bass Pros all over the country today, but he started right in his family is right in Springfield, Missouri. So the first Bass Pro, Springfield, Missouri, you can still come. Branson, Springfield is a great area to travel and vacation. It's a top 5 vacation spot in the entire country. And of course, with Route 66, all the activities going on to celebrate the famous Route 66, that's all going on now. And celebrating the 250-year anniversary of the United States, that's going to be going on, and there's a lot of things to travel and see in Southwest Missouri. Amazingly, one of the facts that I heard was more people from Europe come over to see Route 66 than the Americans do.
Actually, when they renamed it Route 66 Stadium, I questioned that because I'm a baseball fan. My grandson's a pitching coach, and so I said, that's not baseball. And he said, well, let me ask you a question. How many people in Japan know where Hammons Field is? Or how many people in Japan know where Route 66 is? And that was amazing because people from, I mean, Lynn's right, over Europe and especially Korea, and they're really interested in history, especially American history. And they love it. And so we have a lot of foreigners come in there. And if I may add one thing, too, in Branson, again, wonderful venue there, the Keeter Center. And if you've ever been to Keeter Center or ever eaten at the Keeter Center, it is fabulous. And so they're on the second or the third Tuesday of the month. So next Tuesday, they'll be there. And they have really good lined up speakers. The Hay Goods and people like that have spoken. So really cool. Really
well,
good.
Very good. And, one of the things I saw when Jim Whining was just, he and Pam were coming from Lee Summit, and they're here today. And I was telling Jim in November, and we can talk about that maybe right now while I'm thinking about it. In November in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they've got their annual summit, right?
Yes.
Do you know that date?
I think, now don't hold me to this, but I will get it to you, Lynn, but I believe it's November the 6th.
Yeah, I think it is. And here's what, and we'll be talking about it again, because Jen and I are going to go there. I want to go there. I want to learn more. I want to be part of this movement. Whatever I can do, it doesn't matter. I don't need a title. Here's the thing that I think is interesting. I think actually 94X, I could probably, sometimes when the 43 years I ran my family pharmacy business, or even as the COO at Columbia HCA for 2.5 years in Springfield, the number 2 position, I probably worked more than 94X compared to how many hours I'm at church or something like that. Some of us guys, I was accused of being a workaholic, and probably still people accuse me of that, because I work more than 40 hours a week at the courthouse. If I count the work I do on evenings to get ready for commission meetings and closed session meetings and to do the things that I do to represent the county, 100,000 people approximately, I work more than 40 hours a week. I don't count my hours, I just know that that's what I do. But I do believe, when I look at the 3-story courthouse in Christian County, and this will be the way it is everywhere in this country, so you just relate to this. There are so many good people working. So I've got all these other elected officials. Got the collector, got the assessor, got the clerk, got the treasurer, got all these different people. Got 2 other commissioners besides myself, and got all these people. But you know what? We never know during the daytime what their life is like. We don't know what their life is at home. We don't know what they're going through. We don't know. And one of the things that I've started doing just in the last few months, since I'm just barely getting involved in 94X, And that's why I wanted so badly to have a show like this, to let people know what's out there, is I've started going around to different offices in the courthouse. I'm a little slower with my walker than I used to be, but I'm going to kick that walker out, and I'll be walking with a cane, and then God's going to allow me to walk without a cane. I already know what the end goal is going to be. That's what my therapists say. So one of the things I've started doing, Conrad, is asking people, asking the office holder first, asking if I could just say something to his group, men and women in the office, and then I talk to him a little bit about what I've just started experiencing at 94X, and then I ask them if anyone has any prayer requests. Is there anything bothering you? I said, we can either pray out loud, or I can take it back to my office, I can take it home, I will pray for you. And it's amazing, in 3 months, what has transpired, I believe, at the courthouse.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, you know, we're all busy doing our own thing, because I'm not their boss. The collector, he does his stuff. I don't know anything about collecting the money. And the assessor, I don't know anything about that. Treasurer, I certainly don't want to deal with all those numbers and stuff. But it's just kind of amazing how you can bring, it's almost like bringing a peace, just a quality of peace to people when you start doing that. And I have to be careful. I asked the HR director about what can I do, because I don't want to step my bounds. I would love to do a lot more than I do, but you know, some people might not like it. And,
Well, Lynn, you got to give up something. Let some other people serve the Lord. You can't do a one-man band.
No,
you
I know, but I'm hoping that other people will
They
do
will.
what. And so this is the point I'm trying to bring. This show today, what's happening in Springfield, Missouri, and what's happening in Oklahoma can happen in the other 48 states. It can happen. It will happen. But somebody has to start it. So sign up for this book, get this book, learn what's going on, and then I know Conrad, if they emailed you, you would help them organize. I know Sean Kouplen would. I mean, we can do this all over the country.
Yes, and absolutely right. But let me add something, if I may, because you hit a really good point. Regent Bank has a prayer line. We've had last year or 2 years ago, we had over 120 prayer requests. We've had some tremendous faith testimonies about how prayer has helped these people. We also have a devotional from 8:17 in the morning every day till 8:30. And I will get you that 800 number card, and you can and put that on the air.
Okay.
And it's just a devotional you can sit there and listen to. And if you've got a prayer request, come to me. We'll pass it on. Or if you know a Regent Bank in your area, just let them know, and they'll be happy. We had a guy had a prayer request, didn't even know Regent Bank exists, out of Washington. And there was a healing in that. And so I don't want to get too far into that, but it was just one of God's many miracles. And we're just happy to be a servant and being able to do the things that being people, wherever you are people, whether you're like Lynn's public servant with the Green County and the things that he does, Christian County, I'm sorry, Lynn, and everything, you still, God can use you. And, there's an interesting saying, I think it's Jeremiah 27:1 says, I know the plans I have for you, and I know the plans not to harm you, but to prosper you. And I'm butchering this, forgive me, but it's a great, great message.
Sure.
And I thought that Coach Casey Wood, telling the story about Jesus going across the boat in the Lake of Galilee, it was very, very, very resonating.
I tell you what, so folks, you could be a part of one of those type of meetings, breakfasts, where everything, where our Christian values and beliefs, our speakers are tremendous. You can be part of that too, and we're hoping that today's show will stimulate someone out there. Even if just one person in this country, but I believe there's going to be more than one person. If one person did it and started something like what we're doing in Springfield, Missouri, it would absolutely change that area. Absolutely change that area for much good. And I'm telling you what, I'm hoping that several people will watch today and say, hey, that sounds really awesome. That sounds like something I would like to help do. And you could do it too. And that'd really be great. All three of our speakers have been just really very good speakers.
Well,
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Well, the next one is John Perry. And John Perry's the head football coach at Nixa. And obviously, if you follow that, is very, very successful. And his story, and he's just written a book, and it's just phenomenal. He's on, and then we're going to. But I would like to put in a plug, if I may. In October, we do a summit, half-a-day summit, and we have a line of speakers that are really, really good. Last year, we were fortunate enough to have the former governor, and he was hilarious and was great, and his faith is just phenomenal. So we have people that then mark your calendar for Veterans Day. If you're not doing anything on Veterans Day, come and join us. But I must warn you, this place is going to fill up. We had over 425 people last year, and so with the White River Room and Bass Pro has been embraced us a lot, and so it's going to be very unique. So put that on your calendar, and we'd love to have you. We call it God and Country, Faith and Business Tribute to God and Country.
Well, that'd be awesome. So I'll make sure that you and I communicate. We get that on there. I'd love to, especially some of the people in Southwest Missouri. But you know what's interesting is we do have people. I'm sure there's somebody at that breakfast yesterday that's not from Southwest Missouri that's traveled to our breakfast. I'm sure we get that.
The cowboy from Nevada,
that's right.
The Navajo Indian.
Yes, the
wind talker.
The pastor.
Yeah.
And so there you go. I just know that there's always going to be somebody there that's from outside that's going to take back what they heard and seen and take it to the glory of God. I just know that that's what's going to happen, and so appreciate. I just want to say that about your CEO, Mr. Nish. I said, I knew him with Bank of Missouri. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of respect for him, and he's a great man. And then when you have God and you're living through God, that even makes you a better man. Men and women and our children, we need that. And so I really appreciate Region Bank. I do appreciate Region Bank so much, and all the other sponsors, the partners. You call them partners. Yeah. I don't want to call them sponsors.
Well, the reason we call them partners is that we look at sponsors as being a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Partners have ownership.
Yeah.
So all of our partners, I try to meet with them once or 3 times a year, let them know what's happening, what's going on, what the future looks like. We'll talk about the progress in Branson, and then the getting ready for Faith in Business at Missouri Southern University. They're going to be on their campus in January, and just let them know what they're involved in. They're a huge help.
The other thing that is a real treat, I think, when you go to these breakfasts is Mr. Kirk Elmquist. That gentleman, he graduated from Liberty University, probably I consider number one Christian university in the country, and he also was starting quarterback at.
Wasn't starting. He was the chart keeper. He says that humbly. I did too for many years.
I thought he was quarterback.
He was a quarterback,
okay.
But he was third string. So he kept the charts.
Oh, okay.
A fantastic human being.
Well, he is. God has given him a talent. He's probably one of the best MCs. I've gone in my 77 years. I've gone to a lot of meetings, a lot of great meetings and functions. But let me tell you what, he is absolutely just a tremendous MC, a leader, a person that you want to pay attention to. He's funny. He's very smart. He can speak extremely well. And I always look forward to him because he leads our least of these, our food pantry in Christian County, the only food pantry we have in the county, basically. And he leads our auctioning and does all the MCs for our big fundraiser every year. And I always enjoy listening to him. I mean,
he can raise money.
He can. I mean, whatever he says, people want to do. And so I want to give Kurt Elmquist, I thank him for all the things that he does. I want to get him on our show sometime, Dennis, because I want people to, now that Conrad and I have talked about him, but I want people to experience him because he's a strong Christian person.
Very strong.
And I like, you know what? I like to run with strong Christian people. It makes me stronger. When people have the right outlook and they have the right faith, then you will rub off. They'll rub off on you, and it's just awesome to have that type of experience. If you run with people who are depressed, have anxiety, all the different mental health issues today, and we pray for them. We pray that we're getting ready to have a doctor on that's going to talk about mental health issues. And we've had her on one other time, but now we're going to talk about some solutions because there is a lot of people suffering today from all types of mental health issues. The economy doesn't help. All the division in our country, none of those things help us. So everybody has some type of problem, or a lot of people do, and so we want to deal with that type of problem too and have some positive solutions. I told Dr. Baker, I said, we had a great initial meeting with her and program, but I want to go deeper. I actually want to help people, and there's some simple things that we can know and do. And then you may still need to go get help, but there is hope, and so
Jennifer Baker's a very, very, very strong Christian. She's also Lutheran. She used to teach a Bible class, and she was tremendous, just absolutely tremendous.
Well, and then Louis Michael, Louis Michael.
I know of him.
And he's a strong Christian person. He's a realtor down at the firm in Ozark, Missouri, but he's been on our air. He's doing Elvis. He's one of the famous Elvis impersonators. They used to travel in Vegas and Nashville and traveled for several years with other groups. And he sounded and looked when he was young just like Elvis. Today he sounds like Elvis, but he's kind of like me. I wouldn't fit in an Elvis outfit. But he's a great guy. In fact, he's actually going to perform. Jan and I are having our first annual block party down at Villas of Wicklow in Nixa, Missouri, and May 31st. And everybody that lives in Village of Wicklow is invited, and we will have him singing Elvis songs. We'll be having him. He impersonates other people. He can sound like different people. He's very, very good, and he has a nonprofit, Choose to Live, because he almost committed suicide when he was getting ready to graduate from Glendale, in Springfield, Missouri, and. This is how God works, because Louis was having some chemical issues that was causing him to have depression, and he went down to Busick Park. We know where Busick Park is, south of Ozark, Missouri, on the way to Branson, and had a pistol to his head. He tells this story here in our studio. Had it cocked, and then what happened? God said, Louis, throw that gun down. That's the words. Throw that gun down. And what did he do? He threw it down. But you know what happened? He had the gun cocked, and it shot him in the foot. But that's the humor of God, maybe. I don't know. But think about it. He threw the gun down, and why did he throw the gun down? He said he heard God.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe it. I believe it. So now he tries to help other people not commit suicide, because that changes everybody's life. Okay, so he's going to perform, and we're raising money that night. I'm going to give him some good money, and we're going to raise money from our other neighbors, and we're going to help another cause, just like our cause that you have, and things like that. Okay.
If I can add one thing, we have adopted an organization called Folds of Honor, and Kirk is the kind of the spokesperson, if you will, for them for Springfield and Illinois. And so part of when we do the Veterans Day, we raise money for Folds of Honor, which gives scholarships to fallen first responders and police officers and military people. And of course, unfortunately, we are going to be have scholarships to in your county. And so when their kids get college age, they can have a scholarship all the way through to PhD if they want.
Well, thank you very much. I tell you what, I want to make sure I'm there. Janet, I'll be there. I want to help any way I can, and I appreciate those type of things that we're doing out there. You all can do all those types of things out there. Hey, I want to talk about our two sponsors, and then, Conrad, I'm going to give you last words. What would you like to leave with the people today? Think about it while I'm doing their sponsors. So Brad Pistow is our first sponsor. He's been my sponsor for 7.5 years on my political talk show, Your Morning Coffee. He has also been my sponsor here for 5.5 years. Truly a great person, a strong Christian person. However, I want you to know that he's even more than that. He is... Many people consider him as one of the best certified financial fiduciary people in the country, not just in the state of Missouri. Okay, he's licensed in 18 states. He knows people in all 50 states. He goes around and speaks in all 50 states. He goes to meetings in all 50 states. He absolutely has written 2 books, both best-selling books on Amazon for retirement planning. I have used him, and not only do I use him for retirement planning, I also use him for investing. His son is a licensed broker, can sell anything that we want to buy, and then they also specialize in Medicare. So if you haven't signed up for Medicare, and we all every year we have more people that are eligible for Medicare. They've got that covered too. So they pretty well got everything covered financially. So if you call this number, that's why you need pencil and paper. I hope you've been writing some things down. 417-581-9222. 417-581-9222. You call that number, and Lisa will answer the phone. She's also licensed to help you. But she's going to answer the phone, and they will send you one of those books. They will send you Safe Money Matters, his #1 best-selling book, and the second book, Bulletproof. Both of those books are absolutely a guide to making sure that you will not run out of money before you run out of your life. That's what so many seniors worry about today. They worry, because we have more and more expenses as we get older. I see that with my accident I had with my foot and leg. I see that with all the other things that my friends are suffering as we get older. They talk about the golden years. I'm not sure if it's really real gold, because real gold is increased in value, but you know what? Whatever it is, he can help you. So be sure and call that number, and he will help you. And we recommend him. A lot of my friends and business associates use him. People from all over the country use him. Okay? All right. The second sponsor is Springfield Nissan, Springfield Kia. They've also been my sponsors since my 7.5 years on my political talk show. They also have been my sponsor for the 5.5 years here. That's John Whittaker. That was John Youngblood. John Youngblood, I bought my second Grand Cherokee Jeep Summit the top of the line Jeep. I bought that from John Youngblood. That was his personal car with 5,000 miles on it. I talked him into selling me his car. and the car before that, I bought that had 3,000 miles on it, and I talked him into selling me that car. So because I like to buy new cars, but I don't want to buy one that's just doesn't have any miles. I get a little discount. So I like that. But John is retired. John Youngblood is retired. John Whittaker is now the CEO and owner of the 2 franchises. And then Aaron Swanson, he'll be on our show this summer. He is the general manager and knows so much about the cars, Nissans, Kias. And on Labor Day last year, I bought a Sorento, a Kia Sorento, that I actually like as much or better than my Grand Cherokee Jeeps, which I didn't think was possible. The service is impeccable. The car, the process of buying it, everything is awesome. And you're going, well, Springfield, Missouri, I don't live anywhere in Springfield, Missouri. Well, if you live 8 states around this Missouri area, they have business every year from 8 different states, okay? So he can help you. They can help you with all kinds of cars. Dr. Mary Byrne, who'll be back next week, she bought just about a month or so ago, she bought a Nissan Rogue, a brand new Nissan Rogue. So we have a lot of friends, people in Acts Ministry. Some of them have 3 different Kias and for different family members and things like that. The assessor just bought a car for a Kia for his wife 2 weeks ago. So we have a lot of people that we send there, and you won't be disappointed. Their phone number is 417-882-3838. 417-882-3838. And here's another lady, Susan. Susan will always answer the phone. And she will always get you to the right person. Whatever department you need, or if you need Aaron Swanson, or you need John Whittaker, or you need the top sales manager, you're going to get it, okay? So again, I really like businesses that take care of the customer from the point of the phone call completely through the process. They're gonna do that. Located at 3838 South Campbell. Interesting thing in Springfield, Missouri. New cars on one side, used cars on the second side, on the other side of South Campbell. They're right across from each other. Great dealer. Longest, I think they've been in business about 45 years. I think that may be the longest family-owned dealership in the Springfield area, Southwest Missouri area. Okay, so that's our sponsors. We appreciate it if you would give them a call. I'm very particular. I've had other people want to be a sponsor. It's not that I wouldn't take a sponsor, but I don't. I can't recommend something that I don't use and I don't believe in myself. You wouldn't want me to do that, so I don't want to. So, Conrad, what do you think we can leave with our viewers today?
Well, in capsulizing what we talked about, if I can share with you, I'm very fortunate in my lifetime to, when I worked for Mutual Omaha, I spent a day and a half on how to listen. And then our church was involved in the Stephen ministry, which was started out of St. Louis. And we were a little late to the dance, so we had to go to Berkeley to be trained. I call it affectionately Berserkly. And so we spent basically 2 weeks in there in learning how to listen. And Lynn was talking earlier about suicide. If you're willing to listen, you can pick up telltale signs. But my point is, each individual, like Lynn was talking about, has a story. And if you listen to them, I'm not talking about hearing, I'm talking about listening. Active listening is very, very hard. But if you read Jesus closely, Jesus was an active listener. And he listened to people and understood not only what they were saying, but why they were saying it, and because of who they were and where they were. So I would say give everybody that you know love, because you don't know what they're going through at the time. And if I may, Lynn, share a story about a friend of mine, a client, when I was at Merrill Lynch, and their dad had died, and they'd gone to Florida, and they were headed back to Minnesota, and they stopped late at night in a airport. And his sister ordered a glass of milk, and so I told the waitress the milk, and she took the glass and threw it across the room, and just mad. And so her brother said, "Watch this," and they left, and so he laid down a $20 bill. That was the tip, and walked out. She came running after him, sobbing, and she told her story of what she'd gone through. She'd just lost her son. She'd lost this stuff. And so people are hurting out there, and they need you, and they need the Lord, and the Lord works through you. Make no mistake about it. The Lord doesn't want to get this job done except through you, and you make a huge difference, and people are wonderful. When you get to know people, they are wonderful, and just listen to them. Look in their eyes. Look at the body language. You can tell. So that's what I would leave, is just take the time to listen. Start with your own family and your own friends. Start with your own family. Listen to your children. They can tell you a lot.
Conrad, thank you for being here.
Thank you
today.
for having me.
You are
Appreciate
a difference maker. Just that advice right there. I will just tell you, I'm really glad you said about listening. Listening is so important. I've said this before on the show, but I want to make sure we reinforce what you just said. When I was a state rep, to begin with, when I started debating on the floor, and you got 163 state reps, and you've got people in the gallery and everything like that. And a lot of times you're debating against an attorney. An attorney is someone who's well versed in speaking in front of groups and knowing how to debate, and sometimes make you look bad, and because he's either for you or against you on your bill. And I was fortunate enough to have 3 of my own bills my first year. But you know what? I caught myself to begin with. You're exactly right. If you don't know how to listen and you're not listening properly, I would be thinking ahead while the lawyer was talking to me and might be criticizing my bill. I would be thinking ahead what I wanted to say, but I wasn't really hearing what he said, which is not good, because you need to know what he said where you can counter that too. And so I've taken courses in listening, and listening is the most important thing. It's much more important than talking. Listening, you will know how to talk and what to say if you listen. But if you don't listen properly, you won't really know what to say, and you won't be as effective. And so listen, and you're right, listen to your kids. That's going to lead into, we've got to go, but next week we've got a great nonprofit coming to talk about foster children. It's a problem in this state and all 50 states. It's a problem. We have a lot of kids that have no mom and dad for one reason or another. And we've got two people that's going to come and talk about that next week. This is a serious thing. We need more foster parents out there. They're going to tell you all about it. But these are people we need, especially our young children. We need to listen to them every night when they get home from school. Don't just half listen. Listen to them. Listen to people. David Burton, MU Extension Council. I went to the board meeting. I'm on MU Extension Council board meeting this week. And David Burton, we started, Greene County has it. Christian County started it last year, a Good Neighbor program. If we could get people to be better neighbors and follow our Good Neighbor program, we would increase the value of our communities. And so we are really it doesn't cost much to be a good neighbor. And that's what we used to have in this country. This country was made with good neighbors. People checking on older folks, people checking on younger folks who are getting ready to have their first baby. It's everybody needs to be checked on, and everyone needs to be taken care of. So anyway, hey, we appreciate you listening in today, watching our show. Conrad, thank you. Dennis, thank you. Good job. We'll be back next Wednesday. God bless.
We're the United States of America. Unity and oneness is what we're made